Hello, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. And I want to start off by humbly acknowledging the land which you live, learn, work, and play is Treaty 8 territory, traditional lands of the Cree and Dene, and unceded territory of the Métis people. For the record, we have Councillor Ball, Councillor McGrath, and Councillor Cardinal joining us online. And councillors, just for voting purposes, please have your cameras turned on. If anyone in attendance wishes to register for any of the items on the agenda, please do so before the agenda item starts. Just for a reminder, you have 5 minutes to present, and please stay on topic. Before we adopt the agenda, does anyone wishes to serve notice of motion? Can I have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Thank you. Someone second that? Okay, it's seconded by Councillor Weigel. And I'll call for a vote. Online, show of hands. That's Councillor McGrath, Councillor Cardinal, Councillor Dogar in favor. Thank you.
Did mine go through on the system? Yeah.
Yeah, that's carried unanimously 8-0. Thank you, everyone. I'm moving on the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to remove item 6.2 off of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the recommendations contained in 6.1, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.6, and 6.7 be approved.
Thank you. Can I have someone second that?
I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Dogar. We'll call for a vote. Councillor Cardinal, Councillor Dogar, Councillor McGrath in favor. Thank you. It's carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. And now we have item 6.2 being considered item number, will that be now? That'll be 9.3 at the end of the agenda.
Thank you.
So we've got presentations. We have the vehicle hire report. I'd like to invite Deanna Berge, Michael Seeger, and Aaron Anderson to present, please. Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Deanne Berge. I'm the Director of Community Services. With me is Aaron Anderson, Bylaw Services Manager, and Michael Seeger, Vehicle for Hire Committee Vice Chair. We are presenting the Vehicle for Hire Committee highlights and recommendations. The Vehicle for Hire Committee mandate is to make recommendations to Council on matters pertaining to the Vehicle for Hire Bylaw 22006 and Schedule J of the Fees, Rates, and Charges Bylaw 21019, and to provide a forum where stakeholders can bring forward ideas and concerns related to the vehicle for hire industry.
The Vehicle for Hire bylaw provides clear regulations and guidelines for the safe and effective operation of services like taxis, limousines, shuttles, and ride shares. The Vehicle for Hire bylaws was updated on June 15th, 2022. It reflects insights from community consultations in 2019 and collaborative meetings with industry brokerages. Community engagement identified that rates and fees, trust and safety, customer service, and ride sharing were key priorities for residents. There has been a noticeable decline in number of issued chauffeur permits and vehicle for hire licenses. Several factors have contributed to this trend, including decreasing population, the availability of alternative transportation options, economic challenges, nightlife and social pattern changes, and the financial strain associated with the rising operational costs. In 2014, there were 457 vehicle hire licenses and 636 chauffeur permits, compared to 2024, where there are 205 vehicle hire licenses and 316 chauffeur permits.
The committee set the identified priorities to be inspections and enforcement to ensure safety and reliability of the vehicle for hire industry, driver education and enforcement, enhance professionalism of chauffeurs and customer service, rules and regulations, review and refine existing rules to close any loopholes and ensure clarity, and vehicle for hire statistics, use data and identify trends to help with the informed decision making. The committee convened several meetings to deliberate on various aspects relating to our mandate. During these sessions, the committee members discussed pertinent issues, gathered info and input from industry members, and analyzed relevant data. Based on the committee's findings, we are presenting 2 recommendations to Council this evening: the addition of a vehicle for hire renewal fee and the implementation of complaint reporting stickers. The fee schedule addition is based on the following: equitable market conditions. The committee compared fee schedules across 5 municipalities, which provided insight on the variations in pricing structures and regulatory frameworks. Ensuring parity in pricing has been proven to help create a level playing field for brokerages and chauffeurs and promotes fair, equitable market conditions. Consumer affordability. The committee agreed that if fees are substantially higher for our region compared to the neighboring regions, it could limit access to transportation options for residents, restricting industry growth. Conversely, if fees are significantly lower, it could indicate potential issues with service quality or regulatory oversight, as seen in our industry in the past. Aligning fees with those in similar markets helps strike a balance between affordability for consumers and sustainability for chauffeurs and brokerages. In summary, the committee is recommending the addition of a $150 renewal fee for vehicle for hire licenses.
This slide is a visual representation of the variations of vehicle for hire licenses fees across the 5 regions, covering licenses for taxis, shuttles, accessible taxis, limousines, transportation network companies, and independent drivers. The RMWB notably exhibits higher costs compared to similar-sized regions. Feedback from industry members and the committee's findings identified that a change to the vehicle for hire license fee would promote affordability and a competitive environment. Chauffeurs' startup costs are approximately $1,840 to operate as a vehicle for hire. This slide outlines the cost for vehicle for hire licensing with the proposed committee recommendation of a renewal fee. For example, a new chauffeur would pay $500 startup fee for vehicle for hire license and then an annual renewal fee of $150. Thereafter, providing the license is applied for within 60 days of its expiry. This equates to a $350 reduction for the chauffeurs to operate in our region.
The complaint reporting sticker recommendation is intended to increase the following: customer confidence. When passengers feel informed, they have greater confidence in the services they're using. Visible sticker indicating how to report a problem assures them that their voice matters and reporting compliments is being actively encouraged. Safety and quality assurance. Through engagement, we have heard passengers want to ensure they feel safe and that their concerns are addressed promptly. By encouraging complaint reporting, we are enhancing both passenger safety and quality standards by promoting active feedback channels.
The Vehicle for Hire Committee is recommending that Council consider an addition to the fees, rates, and charges bylaw. The recommendation is that a renewal fee of $150 be added for the following vehicle for hire licenses: taxi, shuttle, limousine, transportation network vehicle, and independent owner operator. That concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to see something coming back from this vehicle for hire committee. We haven't heard from it in quite some time, but since it's been kind of put together again, it's good to see some results coming back. What I'll start with questions before we start. What's the main reason for lowering the fee then? I know you said it's would indicate more people registering, I guess, but what's the main reason for lowering it?
Through the chair to Mayor Bowman, the main reason would be, as we've heard from industry members, that the region is really struggling with business in town and the operational costs. So we brought that back to the committee for consideration. As a result, we did some benchmarking with the 5 other regions. And we noticed that with a population of our size, we're considerably higher compared to those regions. And be keeping that benefit to them, but also to the municipality, because you're still getting those invested chauffeurs being hired and implemented into our region.
All right, thanks, Aaron. The other quick question before I go to my colleagues, I guess the complaint line is the pulse line, what they have on the display there. Is there another option to have almost an emergency line there as well? Because the pulse line, if it's something that's going to be dangerous or extraordinary circumstances, calling the pulse line probably isn't the best.
To the chair, to Mayor Bowman, that is correct. We highly encourage the 911 if anything above our scope. And this is more if you have an issue with our problem with the chauffeur, or sorry, the vehicle that you're in and taking, that would be in the scope of our bylaw, be communicated to us. And anything above that would be 911 and the non-emergency complaint lines for some issues.
Okay, I would recommend that will be on the sticker as well.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for my colleagues? Councillor Weigel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Thanks for the presentation. I appreciate that. A couple things. Do we track, or I guess, do you as a committee track incidents, like major incidents reported to Bylaw and RCMP about drive for hire and major incidents through that, and track them like on a scheduled year like this maybe we had in 2022, 23, 24 and stuff like that?
Through the chair to Councillor Weigel. We do mostly for bylaw complaints because that's our working scope. I know RCMP, if they were asked, I'm sure they could provide stats, but we do have comparisons that we bring to the committee and other statistics as well that we look over, and we look at common trends to make sure we're informed in our decision making as well. To give you an example, for the last few meetings in a couple months, the complaints coming through our pulse line regarding our bylaw are extremely low. So that's either we're thinking maybe people don't know how to report a complaint, or they're just unaware of the regulations through our bylaw. And hopefully this sign will be nice and visuals, like, hey, maybe I can complete this line. If maybe this doesn't look right, I can have someone to talk to.
Right. So do we find that major incidents are going up, down, trending normal? Obviously complaints are down, hence the sticker, but like major incidents, do we find those are up or down?
If you're looking from 2014 and possibly earlier, it's definitely lower than what we've had in the past.
Awesome. Trending on kind of what the mayor was saying on the sticker, when we're the complaint, is there a way to have like in some cities you go to and they're like the information of the cab driver, everything is visual. So when you're putting in the complaint, obviously that you have all the information right by the sticker. So it's like, this is the sticker, this is the cab number, like whatever it is. I don't know where the privacy policy ends, but just so it's a one-stop, like they could take a picture of that, or it's all right there so they have all the information versus like awkwardly trying to stumble around as they're trying to go through. Would be a recommendation, or if we could, I guess it would be the question that I have. And then the last question is, what is the reason that they think business is down right now? Obviously the fees help, but to think that $500 a year is deterring people from starting a business, I have a hard time. So what were the some reasons that they said business was trending down?
Through the chair to Councillor Weigel. For the first question, there's a few other visuals for a rider while taking a vehicle for hire. So drivers are also required to have their license displayed, as well as a chauffeur permit, where you'll see that they are approved to have the chauffeur permit and to be driving. with her name, picture, and as well as our contact information. There's also another sticker there with some information on our bylaw regarding rates and recordings of the vehicle as well.
And so is that visual supposed to be in the back where you're driving, or is it just somewhere displayed in the car?
So that's displayed, usually we like it in the front, right in the middle, where the back seat driver could see right in the front of the vehicle through the two seats there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then the second question about the business trending down.
So through the chair to the question, what we basically heard is just mostly changing environment of the municipality. Businesses and nightlife isn't what it used to be. That's the most common one that we're hearing.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel. Do we have any other questions from council?
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Yes, mine is there.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for giving me a chance. Very fine presentation and a lot of input has been done. And thanks for what all good has been done. I just want to give you one feedback that this council, the drivers are extremely grateful for removing the coloring scheme of the companies. Every company had a before coloring scheme. To switch from one company to another, drivers had to spend a lot. Now drivers are extremely grateful to mayor and council of this term that they removed that thing. And all those who participated in this good thing are to be appreciated. My question is, safety is important, no doubt about it. But every time getting inspection out of province is not all that positive sign. First time, of course, out of province inspection should be there. But why every time? It costs more money and you see a lot of inconvenience. So first time there should be out of province inspection and thereafter it should be normal inspection. Can you please consider it, please?
Through the chair to Councillor Dogar, some fair statements there. Appreciate the feedback. Just for consideration, the first time that we require that mechanical inspection is a must with our bylaw. It tells us that the vehicle is safe to operate within the region. Again, after that vehicle is used for a year at the renewal rate, at the renewal time that we need another mechanical inspection, that vehicle could be not as what it was a year ago. And as well, consideration, we do inspections every 6 months on vehicles. Some vehicles that we inspect that day, we find a week later with multiple concerns with them. It's just because of the wear and tear of the vehicles always operating within the region and how often, just for consideration.
Thank you very much. Very appropriate reply. My question, probably I couldn't explain it. Every time there is out of province inspection. Out of province inspection should be once. And later on, the inspection should be normal one. So normal inspection cost less money. Can you please consider it?
Through the chair to the question, we can definitely bring it back to the committee for consideration. Just for clarity, the out-of-province inspection is the same as the mechanical. It's really the same inspections. They just use the different names for the two types there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions from council? Councillor Cardinal?
No, I just wanted to say, can somebody follow up about that point that Dogar made, please and thank you. That's all.
Do we have any other questions from council? I'm not seeing any. So thanks all for everything you guys are doing, staff as well as the committee, and bring back a report with recommendations. Appreciate that. Thank you. Next up, we have the Report and Advisory Committee on Aging Annual Update, and I'll ask Deanne Berkey to remain seated and invite Carolyn Evancio, the Chair of the Advisory Committee on Aging, to join, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Deanne Berge. I'm the Director of Community Services. With me is Carolyn Evancio, Chair of the Advisory Committee on Aging. We are presenting the Age-Friendly Work Plan Annual Update. The Advisory Committee on Aging mandate is to provide a forum for stakeholder input on issues affecting seniors, to deal with matters referred by Council, to make recommendations to Council, and to lead the RMWB in becoming an age-friendly community. In April 2024, the municipality received age-friendly recognition from Minister Nixon of Seniors, Community and Social Services. Subsequently, the municipality received recognition from Dr. Tam, Chief Public Health Officer of Canada. The municipality is an active member of the World Health Organization Global Network for Age-Friendly Cities.
I put myself on. The WHO, the World Health Organization, identifies 8 domains important to becoming and sustaining age-friendly status. These include housing, transportation, outdoor spaces and buildings, communication and information, civic participation and employment, community supports and health services, respect and social inclusion. The 2023-2024 milestones are summarized into 3 categories representing all domains. Today we are focusing on social inclusion, education and awareness, and accessibility. The WHO states that social inclusion has a serious impact on physical and mental health, quality of life, and longevity. It is important that we continue to provide opportunities for seniors in our region to be physically and socially active. We appreciate the efforts of the RMWB and many other organizations within the community that provide valuable programming and activities. It is also important that seniors are recognized, appreciated, and valued. They bring a wealth of expertise and lived experiences to our region. We need to continue to celebrate these efforts. A few notable recognitions are the 60+ Impact Awards. This will be the 3rd year. To date, 27 individuals have been recognized. We also continue to provide the Seniors of the Year Award. In 2023, the seniors recognized were Barb Wrights and Robert Parmenter. There are many events that provided social connection during Seniors Week as well as throughout the year. Yesterday, the Council Christmas Luncheon was well attended, as well as the Mayor's Luncheon in June and the Summer Garden Party. It is important that we advocate for seniors by continuing to recognize and support programming and events in our region. At the April 12th Minister's Senior Service Awards ceremony in Edmonton, the municipality received the Wood Buffalo Age-Friendly Recognition Award from the Minister of Seniors, Community and Social Services, Jason Nixon. The Age-Friendly Recognition Community Celebration took place on May 13th, with more than 70 community partners and collaborators attending the event to celebrate age-friendly recognition and the efforts in shaping Wood Buffalo as an age-friendly community. The RMWB provided ProHera accessible customer service training with more than 60 municipal staff having access to the training. This training educates employees on how to confidently provide inclusive customer service to people with disabilities. More than 20 age-friendly programs and events were funded through the community investment programs, among a few which are the Seniors Outreach and Advocacy Program, Elders Gathering, Elder Care Program, Seniors Luncheons, Alzheimer's Awareness, Healthy Eating for Older Adults, Age-Friendly Training, Well-Being Conversations, and Emergency Preparedness.
Accessibility is an important initiative for the Advisory Committee on Aging. The municipality supports programming linked directly to this, including Snow Angels, which is a volunteer matching program that connects seniors with a volunteer to shovel snow from their walkways and driveways to ensure they can safely access their home and stay connected to the community. Accessibility simulation and age-friendly training was provided for municipal officials and administration. St. Aidan's Society hosted this interactive training that enhanced understanding and empathy for older adults and their experience with aging. Accessible public parking program through Public Works is led by the traffic branch to provide accessible parking stalls near homes on residential streets. The Downtown Revitalization Incentives Program, or DRIP, was approved by Council and supports funding accessibility upgrades for eligible applicants. And the Downtown Area Redevelopment Plan includes policies on accessibility. The Municipal Development Plan, recently approved by Council, highlights several strategies to support accessibility, promoting safe mobility, planning for accessible community, and promoting equitable access to healthcare, education, and social services. The accessibility audit was proposed by the Advisory Committee on Aging. Phase 1 of the audit took place from August 2023 to March 2024, using the Rick Hansen Foundation Accessibility Certification Tool. The results are intended to inform future improvements to accessibility through retrofits or enhanced design standards. 14 buildings were audited, including both municipal facilities and private properties in Fort McMurray, Janvier, and Fort Chipewyan. Phase 2 took place over the summer of 2024 and included an additional 9 buildings being audited. Resources and tools that include the accessibility checklist and the final accessibility audit report of Phase 1 will be available on the RMWB webpage. The accessibility audit final report for Phase 1 outlines opportunities to improve accessibility, including exploring, initiating, and supporting building retrofits, developing and implementing accessibility policies, expanding building audits to include additional properties, conducting research and promoting awareness of the best practices on universal design, and general advocacy and education to increase public awareness of accessibility. The next steps include maintaining an active membership with the World Health Organization Age-Friendly Network, reviewing the accessibility audit findings and the MDP as they speak to the development of an accessibility policy. On December 3rd, the RMWB dedicated website, Accessibility Around the RMWB, will be launched.
The Advisory Committee on Aging will engage with community partners and contributors to update the Wood Buffalo Age-Friendly Work Plan with public engagement to follow. We are extremely pleased with the progress to date in valuing seniors as one of the greatest resources in our region, but this is just the beginning. We must continue to work at sustaining and moving forward with age-friendly initiatives and benchmarks. That concludes today's presentation. Thank you for your time and ongoing support.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from Council? Councillor Dogar? Or sorry, Councillor Cardinal. So Councillor Cardinal's light's on. Go ahead, Councillor Cardinal.
Thank you for your presentation. Through the chair, I'd like to ask how much in the age-friendly work plan has the rural communities been a part of, or is it just strictly for the urban area?
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal, the rural communities were involved in the audit. The Fort Chipewyan Arena and the municipal office were part of the accessibility audit. So this is a region-wide initiative. Okay.
I guess my next question would be: was there walking trails and you're making it user friendly and safe, and having a safe mobility issue? I mean, safe mobility initiative. Would that coincide with the structure plan as well as the age-friendly work plan? Work together?
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal. So the intent of the age-friendly work plan is really the piece about accessibility is making our municipal buildings as well as public buildings more accessible for everyone. So that would be considered in both the rural areas and the urban center.
So accessibility to wheelchair accessibility to walking around the communities wouldn't be a part of it?
Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal, it could be a part of it, and I'd probably have to turn that over to my colleague, Keith Smith.
Sorry, Councillor Cardinal, can you repeat the question?
I just want to know if walking trails a completed sidewalks in rural areas would be a part of, the age-friendly work plan, because if it's not, I think may suggest that it be.
Through the chair to Councilor Cardinal, the sidewalks that does exist in rural and any trails would have certain standards. I don't know if it's associated with any type of age work plan, but it would meet the standards associated to that contract or policy.
Can we add that to the age-friendly work plan? Because I think it's important if we're able to have our elders in the rural communities that have mobility issues and have poor road accessibility, and have them be able to be a part of this work plan, to have proper trails for them to be able to go and put tobacco down in the bush somewhere where they feel comfortable instead of in the city. I think it's very important to them as Indigenous people in the rural areas. Thanks.
Councillor Cardinal, if I could also add to that first part of your question around work in rural communities. We also work with the work plan includes a number of partners that we work with that also provide programming to those rural communities. So we have extensive inclusion on the age-friendly work plan for the rural.
Okay, so back to Keith. So would the sidewalks and walking trails and paved trails through the wilderness be a part of the age-friendly work plan? That's my question.
I think I can maybe interject there. I think the committee can take that back and look at it, Councillor Cardinal.
Okay, I'll wait to reply. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor Dogar. Councillor Dogar.
Sorry, I apologize. So this committee is headed by, I suppose, Lana Bouzier, and I visited this, and it is very well managed. I think they also have a relationship with Golden Year Society, lunch and looking after the seniors. Is it right?
Through the chair to Councillor Dogar, the chair of the committee is sitting beside me, which is Carolyn. Luana Boussier used to sit on the committee. She doesn't anymore. There's a different representative from St. Aidan's. And there's also a representative from Golden Year Society.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. A good job is done at Golden Year Society. I have watched, and also in the office where counseling of seniors is done. What about Rotary House? That comes also in the jurisdictions of this committee?
Yes, we have representation from Rotary House as well as Willow Square on the Seniors Resource Committee, which is a part of what I'm a part of as well. So the Seniors Resource Committee is a number of organizations that provide programming to seniors in our community. We meet once a month, and we sort of discuss what's going on, challenges, barriers, and we all sort of just decide from there how to move ahead and then bring it back to ACOA if necessary.
Thank you very much, madam. I know I've seen a lot of seniors looked after. Well done. Keep it up, please.
Do you have any other questions from council? I'm not seeing any, so thanks for everything you do. Sorry,
Mayor. Sorry, I got one more.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Cardinal.
I wanted to maybe ask one more question about for the age-friendly work plan. How much involvement has rural Indigenous relations had in administering the age-friendly work plan? In the spirit of reconciliation, I want to see how that would work together.
Through the chair to the question, on these initiatives, we work very, very closely with Deanne and her group is in an advisory role. So we're familiar with everything goes on, and we keep a finger on the pulse there of our rural communities, Indigenous communities like Fort Chipewyan.
What would be an example for how these things were done rurally through engagements through IRR?
Well, our offices are right next to each other. And, like I said, we keep in contact, and we attend meetings, and we provide advice to the rural communities.
I guess I don't know if that would. No, I think it would be good for now. Thank you for your kind remarks, Mr. Fraser, and thank everyone for their presentation.
Thanks, Councilor Cardinal. And again, thanks for everything you do with the community, with the Advisory Committee on Aging. And one last question. It's not about this, but it's coming later in the evening, so I'll ask now while you're here so you don't sit here all night. Are you in support of the 2027 Alberta 55+ Seniors Games coming to Murray?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great opportunity to showcase the region and to get our seniors involved. And we know that when seniors are active and involved in things, they do better. So I think it's a great opportunity.
Excellent. Thanks. The answer I was looking for. Yeah. And I see even yesterday, the luncheon, I think the biggest win from that is the socialization, everybody getting out. And that's what everybody, it was an amazing event yesterday. So, I think the 55 games will be phenomenal here. So thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks, Jan. And do we have any delegates in this item?
We don't, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the Advisory Committee on Aging annual report be accepted as information.
Thank you. Can I have someone second that?
I second it.
Okay, Councillor Grandison. Are there any other debate, discussion, or comments from council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. And in favor, show of hands online. That's Councillor McGrath, Councillor Cardinal, and Councillor Dogar in favor. Councillor Banjoko, how do you vote? Okay. I think she's gone. That's carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Next up, we have bylaw number 24/026, fees, rates, and charges, 2025 bylaw for council's consideration, which is being presented tonight for its third reading. I'd like to invite Laurie Farquharson and Tony Elliott, Community Services, Corporate Services, to introduce their report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Laurie Farquharson, Chief Financial Officer, and here with me this evening is Tony Elliott, Manager of Financial Planning. We're here this evening to present the recommended updates to the fees, rates, and charges bylaw. Municipalities have limited revenue sources available. Under the Municipal Government Act, the two main revenue sources are property taxes and fees, rates, and charges. In accordance with the FIN 030 user fees and charges, a review has been completed of the fees that the municipality levies for goods, services, and access to facilities. Based on this review and taking into consideration jurisdictional scans across numerous Alberta municipalities, it is proposed that fees, rates, and charges be increased as summarized in Attachment 2, Fees, Rates, and Charges, Schedule 2025. The primary changes this year are related to fees where a direct benefit is received and a cost-neutral fee structure is required. This includes the Parks and Roads Fee Schedule F, Planning and Development Schedules H, K, and L, and the Environmental Services Schedules M, N, and P. Administration is recommending that the bylaw 24/026, being the Fees, Rates, and Charges bylaw 2025, be approved. This concludes our presentation. We're happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lori. With a few increases we have, where does that leave us with comparatively with the rest of the province on what they're charging in fees and rates?
Through the chair to the chair, that's a very large question. I do know that we still, for the most part, have some of the lowest rates in the province. I don't have the information in front of me jurisdictionally for all the fees and rates.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any. Do we have any delegates for this item?
We have no delegates for this item, thanks.
Okay, can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel.
I move that bylaw number 24/026, being the fees, rates, and charges 2025 bylaw, be read for a second time.
Thank you. And that's seconded by Councillor Granison. Thank you. Any other questions, debate, or discussion from council? I'm not seeing any. I will call for a vote. Councillor Dogar is in favor. Councillor Cardinal.
Opposed?
Okay, thank you, Councillor McGrath. And that's carried 7-1. Thank you. I can have someone make the motion for the third reading. Councillor Granison.
Mayor, I move that bylaw number 24/026 be read a third and final time.
I second it.
Thank you. Did someone want to make an amendment based on the vehicle for hire advice we received earlier from the committee? Councillor Granison.
As far as I know, they're already in there. Those changes for the taxi, weren't they?
Those reduced, I don't think that reduced rate was in there.
Yeah, the reduced rate was in there, wasn't it?
Through the chair to Councillor Grandison, no, it was not.
My apologies. I remember reading it, so I thought it was in there. Okay, I can amend that then.
You have that.
Mr. Mayor?
We have that here, I think, Councillor Granison.
It's Stu that's doing it, right?
That should be on your screen now. Councillor Granison.
All right, let's try this again. So I guess we withdraw the other one and go for that bylaw number 24/026, fees, rates, and charges, 2025 bylaw, be amended by inserting the following as a new section in Schedule J, vehicle for hire. Number 5, renewal for vehicle for hire license. A license shall only be eligible for renewal within 60 days of its expiry. Otherwise, a new license must be applied for, and the application for vehicle for hire fee shall apply. A taxi at $150. B, shuttle at $150. C, limousine at $150. D, transportation network vehicle at $150. And E, independent owned and operated at $150, that the remaining sections be remunerated accordingly.
Thank you, Councillor Granison.
That's a mouthful.
And that's seconded by Councillor Weigel. Does council have any other debate points, discussion, or comments? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. It's Councillor McGrath, Cardinal, and Dogar in favor. That's Councillor Cardinal, Councillor Dogar in favor, and Councillor McGrath opposed. Thank you, councillors. And that's carried 6-2. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Tony, and thank you, Lori. Next we have up. Okay, just amended that one. Sorry, stay where we are, just in case. Can I have someone make the third reading as amended?
Oh, you're looking for me. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
You're still on.
Yeah. I move that law number 24/026 be read a third and final time as amended. That way?
Yeah, that works.
There you go.
That's seconded by Councillor Ball. Thank you. Does council have any discussion, comments, or debate points? Not seeing any. I'll call for a vote. In favor, online and by hands? Councillor Card. Thank you, Councillor McGrath. Opposed. Councillor Cardinal, Councillor Dogar in favor. That's carried to 6-2. Thank you. Next, no, thank you, Lori. Thanks, Tony. I can really go. Next up, we have bylaw number 24/024, revision bylaw municipal development plan 2024 to 2044. Schedule A of the bylaw number 24/015, which is being presented for second and third reading tonight. I'd like to invite Amanda Owens. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of Council. For the record, my name is Amanda Owens, Director of Planning and Development Services, and with me this evening is Alex Wang, Planner on file for the Municipal Development Plan item. We are here to seek approval to correct minor clerical errors in the Municipal Development Plan bylaw number 24/015. The corrections to the MDP do not affect the bylaw in principle or substance. The document's goals, strategic directions, policies, implementation, and intent or direction remain the same. We are here to seek approval to correct minor clerical issues. There are 4 which are identified in order. 1, in the table of contents, page number 62 needs to be updated to read 68. Secondly, on page 29, map 3, we're looking to add a dot to identify the location of Fort Chipewyan. Number 3, page 145, figure 5, we're looking to place the 2018 and 2021 data appropriately on the page. And lastly, page 145, figure 6, we're looking to update the title as births and deaths and include the source being the Government of Alberta Birth and Death Municipality. Section 692 of the MGA authorizes Council to make minor amendments to the MDP that relate to clerical, technical, grammatical, or typographical errors that do not materially affect the bylaw in principle or substance. Administration therefore recommends the minor updates before you this evening are approved. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Do we have any questions from council? Councillor Cardinal?
I do. Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Amanda, for the presentation. I missed the thing on Fort Chipewyan there. I just, I didn't hear something went wrong with the computer. Sorry about that.
Through the chair to the question. So basically, this is a minor edit that's being made to the municipal development plan, properly showing the dotted location of where Fort Chipewyan is on a regional map.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Do we have any questions from council?
I do.
Go ahead, Councillor Cardinal.
I guess once again, Amanda, I wanted to, through the chair, thanks again for your presentation. I did want to talk about with the municipal development plan. Is both with the. I wanted to know whether or not. Actually, you know what? I'll send this an email. It's not has nothing to do with your presentation. Sorry.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Do you have any other questions from council? Do we have any delegates to this item?
We have no delegates. Thank you.
Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 24/024 being a bylaw to revise the municipal development plan 2024-20 to 2044 be read a second time.
Thank you.
I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Dogar. Do we have any debate or comments from council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. In favor online, Councillor McGrath, Councillor Cardinal, and Councillor Dogar is in favor. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Can I have someone make the motion for the third reading? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 24/024 be read a third and final time.
Thank you. That's seconded by Councillor Grandison. Thank you. Do we have any discussion, debate points, or comments from council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. In favor online, Councillor McGrath in favor, Councillor Dogar in favor, Councillor Cardinal in favor. Thank you.
My vote's not coming up, so in favor.
Thank you, Councillor Ball. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. I think you're done, Amanda. Thanks. Thanks, Kelly. And next, we have a public hearing on bylaw number 24/021 land use bylaw amendment, redesignated lot. Yeah, you're still here. Plot 56, Plan 832, 1906, from the HC Hamlet Commercial District to HR Hamlet Residential District. Before declaring public hearing open, here's the overview of the hearing process. The public hearing will be open, followed by an introduction of the item by administration and questions from council. Then we'll move on to written submissions and hear verbal submissions, and any speakers present, followed by questions from council. To finish, we'll hear closing statements, then the hearing will be declared closed. So I hereby declare the hearing open. I'd like to invite Amanda Owens and it's Alex, right? My notes are wrong, Alex. I'd find an introduction and opening statement. Go ahead.
Thank you. Once again, good evening. For the record, my name is Amanda Owens, Director of Planning and Development Services, and with me this evening is Alex Wang, Planner and File. I'm here to present a land use bylaw amendment to rezone 118 Lapousse Avenue in the hamlet of Janvier from HC Hamlet Commercial District to HR Hamlet Residential District. The subject property previously had a general store and post office, which were torn down in 2000. The site has since been left vacant. The property owner intends to build a single detached house on the property. However, the current zoning does not permit for it. Therefore, a land use bylaw amendment to rezone the property from HC Hamlet Commercial District to HR Hamlet Residential District is required. This proposed amendment is consistent with the development pattern and uses of neighboring residential properties and is in alignment with the Municipal Development Plan, which recognizes the need to support residential development in Janvier. The proposed amendment was circulated to internal municipal departments, and adjacent properties were also invited to provide their feedback. No concerns were received. Based on the above considerations, administration supports the proposed land use bylaw amendment. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Do we have any questions from council? Councillor Cardinal, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for his presentation, Amanda. I do notice that. Okay, let me. So this is happening quite frequently in the rural communities, right?
So Councilor Carter, your question is if this happens quite frequently in the rural communities?
Yes.
Through the chair to the question, depending on what the conditions are in the rural areas, if there's a group or an individual who has a piece of or is interested in a piece of property that may be suitable for residential development, and administration also supports it, we're more than happy to come to council with that recommendation. In this case this evening, it does make sense. It's in an area in which residential would be appropriate, and the site is underutilized. There's no development on the site right now. Previously, there was a commercial development. It's not there, and the property owner is interested in building a home on the site. And we also know that housing is a constraint within the hamlet, and we're more than happy to support any residential development.
I appreciate the answer, Amanda. I guess my next question would be, what kind of an engagement plan have we administered through our department, planning development, to make sure that we just cover the parameters around this kind of situation moving forward?
Through the chair to the question, when we undertake the area structure plans, there are, and even with the land use bylaw, there are a number of public engagements that occur with communities, and it gives us a better understanding of what some of the constraints might be. When we conduct the census, that also gives us more information about the demographic and what the potential growth pattern could look like in the areas. And we also do work closely with stakeholder groups that are within the communities, which gives us a bit more insight as to some of the constraints that might be faced in the hamlets. We try to keep up to date on what's happening in the rural areas, and where we can respond accordingly and where it makes sense, we're happy to support it.
Thanks. So I guess more or less, you notice that you need your lot bylawed or converted to country residential, commercial residential, whatever it is, and then just move with that rather than engaging from a municipal perspective and getting a plan in place prior to everybody just doing it as we go.
Through the chair to the question, within the land use bylaw and in the area structure plan, there are already designated residential areas or districts that are appropriate for residential development. In some cases, there could be properties that it makes sense to convert them to residential if there's an interest. In this case, because the property was previously commercial and was a commercial development on the site, it likely remained a commercial area or parcel. But now moving forward, the property owner has come forward with an interest to convert it from commercial to residential. And this is sort of a one-off case.
So this is going to be completely for all the. No, I guess it would just be for the bylaw. Okay, that's all I got for my questions. Thanks.
If through the chair to the question, if I can just add a little bit more clarity, in this particular case, it's only for one residential address. So it would be one home on 118 La Pousse Avenue. It's not for a whole area within Janvier.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting back to is like if the community, we know that there might be certain similar land lots that are like this, and what I'm just trying to say is that I just like to maybe make it to where we reach out to the people that have these lots and see if what they're wanting to do with them, rather than, you know what I'm saying? I just try to engage a little more is what I'm.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well noted. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Cardinal. Councilor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. I'm trying to get my head around this lot. Was this the old store and the gas station? At one time, that lot was deemed contaminated, if memory serves me correct. Has this subsequently been cleaned? If it's the lot I'm thinking of.
Through the chair, to the question, this was a previous commercial store and post office. It wasn't a gas station.
Okay, it's, are you sure? Based on the map that I saw, I remember there being a gas station there, so.
Through the chair, I'll respond to your question. We just follow the previous information about the history about that lot, and that's indicated in our area structure plan. In the area structure plan, it figure out in Janvier, this is the old commercial lot used to be used as a post office.
And a store, I remember
and
that.
A store, yes.
Okay, I'm just asking the question if it's that I have to go look, but I remember there being a gas station somewhere along there. So I just know that at one time, 20, 25 years ago, I remember there being some contamination with from the underground gas tanks, and it just looked like it was the same lot when I looked at it. So.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Kelly, if you have something to
add. I actually provide a site inspection for that lot. I didn't see any contamination, so I just follow the information from the area structure plan, and that shows it is a post office and
okay, that's fine. Just like, yeah. I've certainly been wrong before.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Grandison. Councilor Dogar. Councilor Dogar.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. Very nice presentation. And my question is that such like changes do take place. Is there any way or procedure that the municipality staff also visits on site and engage the neighborhood?
Through the chair to the question, yes, notifications to the neighborhood have been completed.
Okay. Is there any way that elected people of the area are involved?
I think we're involved right now, Councilor Dogar. The bylaws, the residents requesting changing their commercial property to a residential property, and they brought it forward to us right now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very appropriate reply, but these are far off places, urban, where only their own elected who are on that ward, they can appreciate and reply in more depth. This is my point of view. Thank you very much. Anyhow, what all you are doing good job.
Thank you, Councilor Dogar. Councilor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We at liberty to identify the owner of that property publicly, or is that?
Through the chair to the question, no, at this time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Grandison. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any written submissions or anything needs to be acknowledged for record.
We have no written submissions this evening for this item, Mr. Mayor, and we do not have anyone registered to make a verbal submission.
Thank you. Does anyone in the gallery wish to come forward to present? Any further questions from council to administration? And as a reminder, once this hearing is closed, there'll be no further questions or information gathering occurring. Councilor Cardinal.
Thanks, Mayor. Is this final comments and debate?
No, there's no debate yet. This is just questions.
Okay, fine.
Does administration have anything to add? I'll now declare this public hearing closed. Now, coming out of the public hearing, we have second and third readings of bylaw number 24/021, land use bylaw amendment, redesignating lot 56, plan 832-1906 from HC Hamlet Commercial District to HR Hamlet Residential District for council's consideration. Have someone make the motion for the reading for bylaw number 24/021. Councilor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 24/021 being an amendment to the land use bylaw number 99/059 to redesignate land described as lot 56, plan 832-1906 from HC Hamlet Commercial District to HR Hamlet Residential District be read for a second time.
Thank you, Councillor Weigel. And that's seconded by Councillor Granison. Thank you. Now, is there any debate, discussion, or comments from council?
I do.
Go ahead, Councillor Cardinal.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks again for the presentation. I just think it's a great idea to change the bylaw, but sorry. And I'm glad that the rural communities get some more housing and be able to put a nice, comfortable home on there, and appreciate it. So I'll be supporting the motion.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Ever the council have any debate, discussion, or comments before we vote? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. Online in favor? It's Councillor McGrath in favor, Councillor Cardinal in favor, Councillor Dogar in favor, and Councillor Ball in favor. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Next time, someone make the motion for the third reading. Councillor Granison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 24/021 be read a third and final time.
Thanks, Councillor Granison. Seconded by Councillor Ball. Thank you. Again, councillors, any debate, discussion, or comments? Not seeing it, I'll call for a vote. So, and online in favor, Councillor McGrath, Councillor Dogar, Councillor Cardinal. And that's carried unanimously. We'll now move into your... Yeah, we're going to take a... What time is it? Take a 10-minute recess right now until we get a few councillors back online. We'll be back. Welcome back. We'll now move to public hearing for bylaw number 24/025, Fort McMurray Regional Airport Area Structure Plan Amendment. Before declaring the public hearing open, I'm going to go over a few quick process notes. I'll declare the public hearing open, followed by an introduction of the item by administration and questions from council. Following that, we will hear an opening statement from the applicant. Then we'll move into written submissions and hear verbal submissions from any speakers present, followed by questions from council. To conclude, we will be hearing closing statements and the hearing will be declared closed. Hereby declare the public hearing open. I'd like to invite Amanda Owens and I'm guessing Jennifer Wardle from Planning Development to present with the opening statements, please.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Amanda Owens, Director of Planning and Development Services. This evening, we are here on behalf of the Fort McMurray Airport Authority in support of an area structure for Wardle, planner with our Planning and Development Services team.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you this evening is an amendment to the Fort McMurray Regional Area Structure Plan, Regional Airport Area Structure Plan. The purpose of the amendment is to allow for commercial uses in the former airport terminal building that is located at 501 Snow Eagle Drive in Fort McMurray. If approved, this amendment would allow the Airport Authority to lease the unoccupied terminal building to a business that is looking to operate a warehouse wholesale retail business. The proposed amendment applies to a portion of parcel 481 RS. The amendment would designate the subject area from airside business industrial and airside reserve to landside business industrial. As part of the amendment process, public notification was given by notice of change letters delivered to property owners within 120 meters of the parcel. Letters were also distributed to airport tenants located along Snow Eagle Drive, and 2 on-site notification signs were posted at both the former and current terminal buildings. No comments or opposition to the amendment were received. 2 letters of support have been subsequently received this week. Administration supports this amendment because it broadly aligns with the Council Strategic Plan, which supports delivering a pro-business environment. It will encourage business investment and attraction in the region. It will support the reuse of a building which has been unoccupied for more than 5 years. And importantly, it will support the sustainable operation and financial self-sufficiency of the airport. As part of Planning and Development Services' commitment to improving customer service and facilitating investment, we are pleased to bring this item forward for your consideration this evening. Thank you. That concludes our presentation.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Jennifer. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any. And Paul Spring in favor.
I got one.
As well as Robbie's Towing, Jeffrey Reed in favor. Robbie's Trucking, Jeffrey Reed in favor. Go ahead, Councillor Cardinal.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for the presentation. How many other facilities are converted to this area structure?
Through the chair to the question, do you mind please reframing the question?
How many other facilities have done the same thing along the airstrip?
Thank you. This will be the first one.
So what's the intention of that side of the airport to eventually have this be done frequently?
Through the chair to the question, the property that we are speaking of is actually the old terminal building. This building in particular has been underutilized and hasn't been operational or really having any added value or benefit for the last 5 years or so. The intention here is to see warehouse retail be located in the building, utilizing it as a space for a future retail business.
How many aviation facilities, how many airlines were contacted specifically for them to be able to come and delegate?
Through the chair to the question, And there was also letters that went out. Jennifer had also, our planner on file, had also went out in person and had conversations. And there were signage, public signage placed at both the old terminal and the new terminal, indicating that there could be a future amendment to the site for a different use.
So thanks for that, Amanda. So how about Fort McMurray Aviation? Has anybody related the messaging to them? Because I do know that, actually, answer that question first.
Through the chair to the question, McMurray Aviation did receive a notice of change letter, as well as all charters located along Snow Eagle Drive.
Did they agree to this?
Through the chair to the question, I did deliver the letter, but didn't have a conversation with the particular operator. However, I've received no letters of opposition or comments from McMurray Aviation or any other charter airlines.
Thank you. Is the parking lot a part of the property at the old terminal?
Through the chair to the question, yes, the parking lot is included in the ESP amendment area.
Okay. Do the staff know that the community of Fort Chipewyan uses that area as a parking lot?
Through the chair to the question, are we speaking of the McMurray Aviation location or the old terminal location?
No, Fort McMurray Aviation utilizes the parking lot for the residents of Fort Chipewyan and at that old terminal. So does our administration know that that's happening?
Through the chair to the chair. This evening, we do have the airport authority in the room. They may be able to provide more context to that.
We can wait until they present. So, Councillor Cardinal, the airport authority is here today to present. So you probably maybe ask them that question when they're up.
Okay. So back to, so besides the old air terminal, I'd like to know with the area structure plan for the airside Fort McMurray Airport Authority airside, is this something that's going to, another building comes up, is that their plan to just slowly, get rid of the airports, or how do they, I'm just wondering how the engagement went as well.
Through the chair to the question, the only element that we're discussing here is the old terminal building. There will be in the future an updated area structure plan that brings the entirety of the new airport and the old airport area into one updated area structure plan. My understanding, I can't speak on behalf of the airport authority themselves, and maybe this is a question for them later this evening, but my understanding is that there hasn't been any conversation around interrupting any of the operations of the existing charter companies that exist along that stretch. No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have other questions from council? I'm not seeing any. Do we have any other delegates to this item?
We do have a registered verbal submission from the Fort McMurray Airport Authority, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Jennifer. So, Deneen, if you just want to say your name for the record, and you have 5 minutes to present, and just stay on topic.
Okay.
Thanks. And just remain seated for questions, please.
Okay. I'm Deneen Robinson, the President and CEO of the Fort McMurray Airport Authority, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. It's regarding the change in use of our building and adjacent parking areas located on the Fort McMurray International Airport campus. So we are here to request support for the proposed amendment, and this amendment would redesignate the old airport terminal from airside business industrial and airside reserve to landside business industrial, as was explained by administration. So currently this is the old north terminal, and it does not facilitate any air traffic movements, nor is it required for airside operations. This change in designation would move the old terminal to the same designation as other facilities along Snow Eagle Drive, and this change in designation would also allow the authority to repurpose the facility and allow for commercial leasing opportunities and to generate revenue on a currently underused facility. For perspective, this terminal has not seen regular air traffic since 2017 and has been mainly vacant for the past 7 years. Maintaining this empty facility is a cost to the authority and creates a financial burden. This change in use will allow us to preserve the integrity and to extend the life of the structure, and will also allow FMAA to generate revenue to cover the cost of maintaining the facility. As you are aware, commercial traffic at the new terminal has declined significantly since opening in 2014, and this decline in air traffic has caused significant financial strain for the Fort McMurray Airport Authority. And this amendment is a small but a critical step in supporting the financial viability of the airport infrastructure. So on behalf of the Airport Authority, I encourage everyone to support this amendment, and together we can ensure that YMM continues to serve as a gateway to opportunity, a driver of economic growth, and a symbol of progress for our region. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Deneen. Questions from Council? Councillor Dogar? Councillor Dogar?
Oh, sorry, sir. I'm forgetful, man. Sorry, madam, it's a very nice presentation. I was a board member for some time, and you people were very nice to entertain me, and your assistant took me to all the departments and all the offices and made me understand. That is a very good thing. But at the same time, I feel that board member from council should also be have the privilege of voting for it. There's no voting.
Okay, point of order upheld. Councillor Dogar, that's not what we're discussing this evening.
The question could be there that why it cannot be extended.
No,
okay.
That's not appropriate right now.
Okay. The question comes from my side is the old airport north, you are eliminating it, but I could make it from the discussion presentation. So this facility is converted into what use next? What is the use of it? Are you going to demolish it, or some purposeful use would be made? Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Dogar, we are hoping to have a commercial leasing opportunity for this building.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Cardinal?
Thanks for your presentation. I guess I'll ask the same question I asked Amanda. Have you had any communications about how the community of Fort Chipewyan are going to be able to have a place to park their vehicles? Because obviously I live in Fort Chipewyan, and I know that there's issues with McMurray Aviation parking, and they use that parking lot. Have we considered this communication at all?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Cardinal. Yes, we have currently leasing agreements in place, and those leasing agreements for the parking spaces will not be impacted. We have sufficient currently unused leasing parking spaces that will be attached to the facility if we rent for a new commercial opportunity.
Are you able to actually share that with me?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand the question.
The leasing agreement.
No, I'm not able to share leasing agreements.
Okay.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor Wago?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate all that you and your team are doing to try to continue to find fiscally ways to support the airport. You guys have done a great job. I guess the question, and I know that you said it, but I just want to clear terms. We're just looking to take that, the old airport, and basically make it the same as all the other commercial buildings along Snowy Owl.
Yes, that is correct. So currently, right now, the terminal is captured on airside property, and we just want to move that to the land side. So it would be similar to the other properties that are along Snow Eagle Drive, because it's currently not used for airside operations. operations and is not required for airside operations. So as it stands now, it's a vacant building that we cannot use under the current zoning structure.
Awesome. I appreciate the clarification. I just want to bring it up because I know we were talking about how this is the first time that we've done this, but it's actually making it congruent with every other building and every other structure that's along that road.
Correct.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Great job.
Thanks, Councillor Wago. Do we have any other questions from council? Councillor Cardinal.
Thanks, Mayor. Through the chair, the presenter, has McMurray Aviation been aware of the change or the request? Or
Through the chair, yes. With the public notifications and the letters that were individually delivered, that all tenants were made aware, and there was public signage posted as well.
thanks. I guess back to the question about that area, the airside structure plan. So is this a start of the new plan? Are we going to put the plan first and then this later? Just wondering that we're doing it, putting the cart in front of the horse here.
Yeah, through there, the terminal was previously where we had all of our airside operations, the old terminal, and now since we've constructed this new terminal in 2014, we essentially have 2 airport terminals, but we only require 1. We have sufficient capacity through the terminal that opened in 2014 that we no longer need the old terminal, so it's a way for us to repurpose this terminal to generate revenue. It could be we don't need it for any airside operations, so we will just move that into the other part of the plan that is zoned for the industrial uses, the landside business industrial. So that would be similar to the zoning for all the properties adjacent to that north terminal.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any, so thanks, Janine.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone in the gallery that wishes to come forward to speak? Any other further questions of council for administration? As our public hearings close, there'll be no more further questions or information gathering. Does administration have anything else to add? And I'll declare this hearing closed. Come to the public hearing, we now have second and third readings of public bylaw number 24/025, forming a regional airport area structure plan amendment. Have someone make the motion for the second reading of the bylaw number 24/025. Councillor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 24/025 being a map amendment to the Fort McMurray Regional Airport Area Structure Plan bylaw number 12/009 to redesignate lands described as a portion of Plan 481 RS from airside business industrial and airside reserve to landside business industrial be read a second time.
I second it.
Thanks, Councillor Grandison. Seconded by Councillor Dogar. Thank you. Do any other debate, discussion, or comments from council? I'll call for a vote. The councillors online in favor. Councillor Walkman, Councillor Dogar. Councillor McGrath, and opposed online. Councillor Cardinal, you opposed or in favor? Is that opposed or in favor?
That's in favor.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. That's carried unanimously. Can I have someone make the motion for the third reading, sorry? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that bylaw number 24/025 be read a third and final time.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Dogar. Thank you. Any other debate, discussion, or comments from council? Not seeing any. I'll call for a vote. Online in favor. Councillor Walkman, Councillor Dogar, Councillor Cardinal. Councillor McGrath, thank you. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Now moving on to the report on the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games. I'd like to invite Deanne Berge and Janelle Fleury, Community Services, to introduce the report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Deanne Berge. I'm the Director of Community Services. Joining me is Barb Wright, Co-Chair for the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games Bid Committee, and Janelle Fleury, Manager of Community Partnerships and Initiatives. On April 10th, 2024, a letter of intent was sent to the Alberta 55 Plus Games organization, stating the municipality's intent to bid on the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games. A bid committee was established to create a successful and collaborative bid. The committee includes representation from community members in the 55 plus demographic, venue leads, and community leaders. The Alberta 55 Plus Games organization introduced changes after an initial letter of intent was submitted. 9 activities have been added to the Games, and an extension to January 31st, 2025 was provided for completion of the bid. The primary expenses for the 55 Plus Games are venue preparation and enhancing the athlete experience. These games are volunteer-driven, which encourages active participation and strengthens community bonds. By leveraging volunteer contributions, our community ensures efficient use of resources and avoids high administrative costs. Bidding on the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Games aligns with Council's strategic plan by fostering partnerships, engaging our community, and enhancing the profile of Wood Buffalo. This will be an excellent opportunity to showcase the Wood Buffalo's hospitality and facilities, reinforce our reputation as a capable host community, and boost the local economy. Wood Buffalo age-friendly work plan by providing opportunities for social participation, promoting active aging and community pride. We are presenting to you tonight as the bid package must include a statement of support and commitment from Council. The recommendation is that the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo commit to supporting the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games by allocating $500,000 from the reserve funds, contingent upon being awarded the Games, and that the administration provide support to the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games Host Community Committee, contingent upon being awarded the Games. Thank you to the committee for all this work on their bid. That concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Deanne. Do you have any questions from Council? I'm not seeing any. Thanks, Deanne. Do we have someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that $500,000 be committed from the reserve fund to support the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games contingent upon RMWB being awarded the bid, and that administration be directed to support the 2027 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games Host Community Committee contingent upon being awarded the bid.
Thank you, Councillor Weigel. And thanks for the second, Councillor Ball. Do we have any other debate, discussion, or comments from Council? I don't see any, so I'll just say I'm definitely in support of this. I'll be able to actually compete in those 55 plus games. So I'm hoping there's boxing and MMA maybe. Well, you never know. Yeah, I'm excited about this, and I see we try to promote everything for stuff for seniors in the community. We take care of. We heard from several councils before, take care of the seniors, take care of the kids, and we'll be okay. So I think this is a huge step for us, and we've had lots of events in the past few years, recreational events for our youth in the community. So this is just something that'll set us a bar above everyone else. So I'm excited for this to come forward. Councillor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too am 100% in support, but I just wanted to add that in the last time we hosted these games, I actually officiated the softball, and I think Councillor Ball needs to be in line to actually get out on the field this year. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Any other questions from council? Thanks, Councillor Wall. Councillor Cardinal?
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Deanne, for the presentation. So we're debating, right?
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Okay, I'm supportive of this as long as you know the committee makes sure that there's clear communication and engagement with the rural communities. This is special. This is a very strong initiative that we could administer in our region. Mayor, if I was 55, I'd meet you there, but I'm not that age yet. So, but just figured I'd make those comments about making sure that special time is administered to the rural communities to make them a part of it as well, and go 55 plus. Oh.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Do you have any other questions, comments, or debate points from council? I'm not seeing it, so I'll call for a vote. Councillors online, Councillor McGrath in favor, Councillor Walkman in favor, Councillor Dogar, and Councillor Cardinal in favor. Thank you. Perfect. That's carried unanimously. Thanks, ladies. Next up, we have a report on increasing pickleball courts using existing assets. So I'd like to invite Keith Smith, Public Works, to introduce the report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Keith Smith, and I'm the Director of your Public Works Division. On April 30th, 2024, Council passed the following resolution: that administration consider cost-efficient opportunities to create pickleball courts in the community using current facilities such as outdoor rinks and/or tennis courts, and bring forward a report to Council which included estimated costs. On October 8th, 2024, administration presented options and Council passed an additional resolution that the item be referred to administration to come back with additional costing information. I am here this evening to present the requested additional costing information. A little bit of background. Pickleball is a sport in which 2 or 4 players use a smooth face paddle to hit a perforated hollow plastic ball over a 34-inch high net until one side is unable to return the ball or commits a rule infraction. Aspects of the sport resemble tennis, badminton, and table tennis, but pickleball has specific rules, paddles, and court dimensions. Pickleball is one of the, if not the fastest growing sports in North America. Currently, we have 2 outdoor pickleball tennis court combinations in Fort McMurray located in waterways. McDonald Island Park has 2 indoor courts as well, and Anzac has 4, which requires payment to access. Considerations. Tennis and pickleball can share the same court, but their nets are different in height and length. Pickleball would have to compromise by playing with a non-regulation net. Options for consideration. Option number 1, which is administration's recommendation, Inge Bay ODR, that being outdoor rink, include 4 nets and painting, estimated cost of $6,000 per court. We would fit up to 4 comfortably on a rink. The total cost of this option is $24,000. Why do we choose Inge Bay or ODR or outdoor rink? This rink has lighting, a parking lot, recent surface replacement. It has no basketball nets or lines, and it is not booked out. As well, all pickleball courts in the urban service area are south of the bridge, and this one is north, providing better distribution. Option number 2, which is it's an enhancement of option number 1, installing an acrylic surface over the concrete at Inge Bay. This is estimated at $100,000 for surfacing and up to $10,000 for a bladder. With nets, this option would cost $126,000. The cost would include pressure washing, acid etching, priming, and a 3-coat acrylic surface, 1 being a base coat and 2 color coats, followed by all game lines for pickleball courts. It's important to note for this option that the supplier will not provide warranty on the acrylic surface. Option 3, being cordless field, is estimated at $5,000 per court to paint both pickleball and tennis lines. This does not include an adjustable net. Pickleball users would play using a tennis net. Total cost of this option is approximately $10,000. Option 4, again cordless field, a new acrylic coating to include both pickleball and tennis lines, estimated at $25,000 per court. This would extend the expected life of the court up to 8 years. Configuration of the courts are to be determined, and the total cost of this option is $75,000 plus nets. Option number 5 is to remain as is, status quo. Thank you, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Keith. Do you have any questions of council? Councillor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Mr. Smith, when you went out and research in my conversations with you, you'd indicated that other jurisdictions are putting them directly on a concrete surface without any added thing, and that has not been a concern for any of these other communities. Is that accurate?
Through the chair to Councillor Grandison, in our research we looked at Olds, and they used an ODR, but they etched the lines into the concrete versus just painting on top. However, they did not do anything to the surface. It remained as is for the ODR. We asked them about have they received any complaints about surfacing, and they had not. We also looked at Canmore. Canmore did what we're proposing, a direct paint. They did indeed, after the first year, get some feedback from the players that they deserved a non-slip. They applied a non-slip, but their original finishing to the ODR is slightly different than what we have. Theirs is more of a polished finish, where ours is lightly brushed. So it's slightly a bit of a different surface. When we asked if they did acrylic, it was to do such.
Okay, so at the end of the day, though, you didn't come back, because I certainly, the original motion was to do this and do it very cost effectively, which is the recommendations of administration at $24,000.
Yes.
Councillor Ball then brought up the concern of concrete in it, and I was not aware that we've taken most of our diamonds and put them into concrete versus asphalt. But I was led to believe in our conversations that there was not a tremendous amount of concern about injuries, that when it rained, we simply shut them down and make them not available. So they're constantly on a dry surface would work out based on our conversation, correct?
Through the chair to Councillor Grandison, absolutely. We have 7 outdoor rinks. 6 are currently concrete. Cooper is the last one to become concrete. That will be done this year, so we will have all concrete. To the best of my knowledge, I checked through the files and through all the information we have. All these are either used for road hockey or basketball or some type of activity in the summer, and we have not received complaints to date regarding slippery. If it's raining, obviously it can't be used.
Well, I want to say in this, I was very pleased that administration took this and ran with it and came back with a price that is, allows pickleball to happen but doesn't break the bank. So I do appreciate that and will be supporting it. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Grandison. Councillor Cardinal?
Ken was ahead of me.
Okay, Councillor Ball?
You got me there?
You're on.
Yeah, okay. But I know I had raised a question relative to the surfacing, whether it was potentially slippery or not. I believe I'd asked if the concrete surface was polished, and I believe I was told it was. Now I'm hearing that it's brushed. Those are significantly different traction issues. So what is it? And in reality, I can appreciate Councillor Grandison's point of view, but safety is safety, and I don't really put a dollar figure on safety when it comes to certain things. If you can provide a facility that's much more safe and proven to be more safe, hence the reason we paint all of our tennis courts with this plexi pave, the idea of locking up these facilities and I do have a question here, locking up these facilities when it rains, who is going to do that? And when are they going to do it? We're going to be monitoring the rain?
Through the chair to Councillor Ball, your first question is that most of the surface for the ODRs, you're exactly right. When they're originally built, it is more of a finished surface. However, we have found that scarifying the surface or scratching it will make the ice adhere to it a little bit better. And of course, any type of concrete that's outside and not protected, it's going to be to the elements. Inch Bay was done in 2021. This is 25. It's 3, 4, 4, or 5 seasons in the weather. So it would have a little bit of a rougher surface, more like your 60 grit sandpaper. So it's not perfectly smooth. I agree with you completely. The safety of our residents is of the utmost. And if the direction and the will of council is to put acrylic surface on this Inch Bay court, that's what we shall do. I'm just providing the facts that around the cost and what it will look like. When we looked at doing acrylic surfacing on our outdoor rinks, what the suppliers did tell us is that, first of all, they would not provide any type of warranty because an outdoor rink by nature is meant to hold water. So when these hold water, the acrylic surface will bubble and delaminate. They did suggest placing a tarp or a bladder over it. However, again, they will not to provide more of a waterproof surface. But again, they would not provide warranty. It increases maintenance. However, I agree with you that if it is acrylic surface in the summer times, if it's functioning properly, it will provide that extra layer of safety. When it comes to monitoring it, we've never did pickleball courts or such within ODRs. This is the first of its kind. We can put signage, and our crews do frequent the ODRs to keep an eye on it. With this one, it can't be guaranteed that they'll be shut down whenever we do get a bit of rain, but they will be properly signed. And I would assume those playing pickleball will take that onus on themselves, that if it's unsafe, they will not continue to play. Again, if it's the will of council to put it down, we'll put it down.
Okay, and so further to that, it's proven that the acrylic surfaces are the safest product to put on a court of this nature. If we're deciding tonight that that's not acceptable in the use of pickleball, will we be no longer continuing to put acrylic surfaces on our tennis courts?
Through the chair, if I may just have one point. Usually with tennis courts, the acrylic surface is put on packed aggregate and is designed for water flow. Again, ODR by nature is meant to keep water in. Pickleball is quite a different sport. It's more low impact. It's not quick moving, not quick jerking, same as what tennis would be. And then when I did a look all over North America, I noticed that there was a kind of a mixture of both. Some pickleball courts were just concrete, some were just hard surface. And I didn't really specify which was best and which was not. Again, I totally agree with Councillor Ball. Acrylic surface, no doubt about it, would provide a better surface when it comes to non-slip.
Okay, thank you.
But I also want to preface that even in the best of times, an acrylic surface will only last 8 years on a tennis court. With this in an ODR, who really knows?
Thanks, Councillor Ball. Councillor Grandison.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. So I believe right now we don't actually go and physically lock our tennis courts when it's raining. No. We put on our website, they're closed. And I believe we do the same thing with our ball fields. Like there's a certain expectation that the users will recognize that they're closed, and we'll do that. I have no problem. I'm one of the seniors. I have no problem with, we could put.
Do you have a question?
X amount. Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm a little slow. I don't know how to frame this. Like at the end of the day, there hasn't been a lot of, we could over safety something, but like your response was that it wasn't any worse. So I don't know. I guess I don't have a question. Ken's probably right.
We can get into that when it gets to debate and comments on Councillor Grandison.
Yeah, no, I just recognized I was doing that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm babbling.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from council? Not seeing any. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, sir.
Public delegates have Ian Kelly. And Ian, if you just say your name for the record, and you have 5 minutes to present, and just remain seated for questions afterwards, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Ian Kelly, and I'm the proud president of the Fort McMurray Pickleball Club, which was founded just a few months ago in June of 2024. In that short time, we've grown rapidly to 160 members, with over 60 being active, reoccurring participants. The growth demonstrates the passion and demand for pickleball in our community. Currently, our club utilizes the Mac Island and the Anzac Recreational Center, and these facilities have been wonderful, but they are no longer sufficient to meet our growing demand for our fast-growing sport. The existing courts are frequently booked. We have long waits and limited opportunities to play. This is impacting not only our members, but more members to join. It's inhibiting the sport's growth in Fort McMurray. The pickleball scene in Fort McMurray is at risk of falling behind other cities in Alberta. This year alone, Grand Prairie opened a 10-court facility. Cities like Cochrane and Calgary and Edmonton are already expanding their pickleball facilities to meet similar demands. Many clubs across Alberta are sending their youths to tournaments and they're coming home with trophies. Meanwhile, Fort McMurray has yet to have the infrastructure to support any opportunities for our residents. So the proposal before council tonight, I think, is an easy and affordable first step to addressing the gap. We strongly recommend passing option 1. It will help the immediate demand for courts, and it'll demonstrate how popular and valuable pickleball is to our community. With 4 courts at this location, we'll be able to have 24 people rotate efficiently with very minimal downtime between games. So I think with 4 courts, this place will become a very big hub for pickleball and Fort McMurray, especially since it is the only court north of the bridge. So we think you should invest in pickleball for our community. Investing in pickleball now will benefit our community for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. And you heard the different options, and you think option 1 is the best one to go with?
For the cost, I think option 1, because option 1 would probably get us playing right away. And I played all summer, and everybody I know just wants to play. So we'll play on cement, we'll play on asphalt, we'll play on.
Okay, just take whatever you can give you, whatever you can get. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel as though we do need a facility. So I feel as though spending lots of money on more outdoor in Fort McMurray probably is not the best cost efficient. Whereas getting these ODRs, at least have us something. Because even the ones in waterways, when we play in the summer, there's always people there. Yeah. So this one gets us something quickly.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. Councillor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. So when I put this motion forward, I was looking at pickleball it kind of started with seniors. And it was, but from what I'm understanding and looking at yourself, that age has dropped dramatically.
I think the 30-year-olds have taken over pickleball now, even more than the seniors. It seems to be the main gap. But it's one of those games from youth to seniors. Everybody can kind of play, and it just sort of puts all the levels together. And you can be teen or you can be a senior, and you can play the same efficient, competitive game of pickleball.
So there are 150 members. 30 is kind of the point where you figure you are at.
30 to 40-year-olds probably, I would say, is the main average, the main one. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Grandison. Councillor Ball?
Thank you, through the chair. I'm just curious about what you had mentioned there with the youth. What kind of growth are you at? Like, I know you're new, but I guess trending in the sport, because frankly, everything I hear about pickleball, it's for old people like me.
So I do the Girls with Grit conference, and that had full participation both times. And talking to any of the participants there, they had a great time. And I'm also a teacher, so I have a lot of teacher friends who are teaching it. And right now in the gym, that's one of the more popular sports when they do the sports is the pickleball. Students love playing it. I think it's just it's a new game that really changes the super athletics people and also the non-athletic people can play in the same court and be in the same competitive level. It really levels the playing field. So students are Pickleball Alberta is sending packages to clubs to promote pickleball opportunities as well, but we just don't have places to play right now, so we aren't able to even partake in that. But yeah, I think it's growing amongst all age groups right now. It's no longer just a seniors game.
Right, and that's what I gleaned from what your comments were. I guess my other question is about this surfacing. I'm certainly a proponent of proper surfacing, so and the reason I am is because we have standards in certain, tennis being one of them, and it has a standard that you use plexi-play as your sport surfacing. Is there a standard for pickleball, or is there a foreseen standard? I mean, we just talked about the 55 plus games that are coming up. Will the pickleball courts that they utilize need to meet a certain standard? And will we be building it anyway if we're successful?
For proper play, and the ODR cement ones probably would not be reaching that standard. A proper standard pickleball outdoor facility, it wouldn't even be a mixed with tennis court. It would be one of those courts with, there'd be 12, 16 pickleball courts with like gates and fences in between it. And it would be a designated just for pickleball. There is no way to get a proper outdoor facility and also share it with tennis. So I feel as though to do a cost-efficient way to get more pickleball in our community, this is the best way of going. But in terms of for your question of whether or not is there an actual standard, yes, there is. You're going to want proper, and I don't know exactly what the proper conditions or the proper material is, but there is be like a regular court, like any kind of sport. There is a good one.
Yeah, all right. Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ball. Do you have any questions from council for the delegate? I'm not seeing any, so thanks, Ian. Appreciate what you're doing. That's great. Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Grandison.
I move that option be approved and that administration bring forward funding as part of the 2025 operating budget.
That's seconded by Councillor Weigel. We have any other discussion, comments, or debate points from council?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Ball.
Although I certainly support the addition of pickleball courts. I mean, I know it's a hugely growing sport. I support option 2, and I don't support option 1. So I'm going to be voting no. Hopefully someone brings forward option 2. Simply because I believe we need to be cognizant of the safety of our residents, whether it's not happening.
Thanks, Councillor Ball. Councillor Grandison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess from my perspective, just even based on this conversation, the 55 games are going to require 8 courts, I believe is what I read in the notes. So in as much as I think approving this makes sense to me right now, but I would also task administration to look further at what the requirements are going to be around the games, for example, and future growth, because this conversation may happen again as we continue to expand. So I think it's a good starting point, but I don't think that's where we're going to end.
Thanks, Councillor Grandison. Councillor Dogar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You see, thank you, Councillor Canball, for giving his point of view. Really appreciate it. I just want to know, sir, from you, do you have physical experience of this game?
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir.
I've seen it. I haven't played it, but no.
No, to defy somebody, you have to be very, very sure. Again, my question is to the
I'm not
presenter.
defying anybody. I don't know what you mean by that. So, okay.
No, defying in the sense that certainly tilting the motion or giving a change. So we have to be very sure about it. And how long you have experience of this option one? Hello, sir. Somebody interrupted
Right now,
me.
it's just comments. The presenter's already finished. We move on past that. We the motion on the floor. Right now, it's for comments and debate of council.
Okay, then my recommendation is with Councillor Grandison that we should study it for some more time in view of the expertise point of view given by Councillor Ball. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure where you landed that. Do you have any other questions, comments, or debate points from council? I think myself personally, I think I would be more inclined with option 2 as well, just for the safety of the residents. In this motion, I think I was just out at Imperial Oil in Curl Lake just this past week, and that's one of the most popular sports they have in their gymnasium there, where they're actually doing bookings for the people at camp. So it's very popular moving forward. So I think having this north of the bridge is going to be extremely popular up there, especially where the president mentioned the age now is from 30 to seniors. So I think that's going to increase that usage quite a bit. So I would definitely, I think I would support just a more safer surface on that. Councillor Cardinal?
Thanks, Mayor. I myself, I won't be supporting it. I won't be supporting none of it. I think that a little more engagement needs to be done in the rural stuff. There's a lot of stuff going into the urban areas, and tennis courts and basketball courts need to start being built in these rural areas and feeding the urban areas all the time. I'm not going to be supporting it just because of that fact. I feel that a lot more work needs to be done in the rural recreation areas, and for that matter, I won't be supporting it. I hope that our administration hears the council's concerns and takes that back to some of the stuff that kids need to be doing in the outside the facilities and the rural
areas. Thank you. Nothing. Already I was talked.
Councillor Walkwin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too support option 2. I do have, I do support Kendrick's also, of getting administration to do a study on that. But the concern that I have is I wouldn't go for option 1, but how can we change the motion to option 2 so that way we can fully support?
No, right now it's option 1 is on the floor, so we'll be voting on option 1, and there's another motion. If that doesn't pass, there'll be another motion afterwards, I would imagine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Cardinal?
Sorry, my hand was up from last time. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments or debate points from council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. And the councillors online in favor? And opposed? Councillor McGrath in favor, opposed? Councillor Dogar, are you in favor or opposed? Yeah, simple, just raising your hand will suffice, thanks.
Yeah, hand went like this.
It's been defeated with 6 opposed. Do we have another motion for the floor?
Well, I can make one for option 2, but I don't have the motion written out in front of me.
Okay, Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that option 2 be approved and that administration bring forward funding as part of the 2025 operating budget.
You can have a second for that motion.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Councillor Ball. Do you have any comments, debate points? from council? Not seeing any, so call for a vote in favor. Councillor Walkman's in favor, Councillor McGrath and Councillor Dogar in favor. And against? Against. And that is passed 7-2. Thank you. And thanks for coming in, Ian. Next, we have a report on the 2024 request for tax accounts and receivables arrears write-off. I'd like to invite Farquharson, Corporate Services, to present.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, my name is Lori Farquharson, Chief Financial Officer. I'm here this evening to present the 2024 request for tax and accounts receivable arrears write-off. An analysis of outstanding receivables is completed monthly. An allowance for doubtful accounts is created quarterly for account arrears exceeding 90 days while collection efforts continue. An account is considered uncollectible when all applicable collection efforts have been exhausted by the municipality. These accounts will be transferred to an external collection agency that will continue collection efforts. The outstanding property taxes in tax arrears in the amount of $11,743.14 includes 5 lease agreements. These lease agreements are not eligible for transfer to tax accounts as they are outside of the legislated property tax recovery process. The accounts receivable arrears in the amount of $12,504.23 includes outstanding accounts for snow dump, utility, and ambulance charges. If council approves the write-off, there is no impact to the 2024 operating budget. The allowance for doubtful accounts will offset these write-offs. Administration is recommending that the property tax and accounts arrears write-off of $24,247.37 dated November 26, 2024, as outlined in Attachment 1, be approved. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lori. Do we have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any. Just a clarification. So the funds that were, the arrears, were still going to be going into collections, still to collect those funds?
Through the chair to the chair, that is correct.
Thank you. Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Grandison?
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the recommended property tax and accounts receivable arrears write-off of $24,247.37 dated November 26, 2024, outlined in Attachment 1 be approved.
Thanks, Councillor Grandison. Do you have a second? Thanks, Councillor Weigel.
I second that. I second that.
It's already been seconded. Do we have any debate, discussion, or comments from council? I'm not seeing it, so I'll call for a vote. So online in favor? Councillor Walkman, Councillor Dogar, Councillor McGrath, and Councillor Cardinal in favor. Thank you. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. If you could just stay there for a minute. I'm going to move on to make it 8.9, the capital project status report. If you're ready to present that. Perfect.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, for the record, my name is Lori Farquharson, Chief Financial Officer. The capital project status report is submitted on a quarterly basis for information. The report has been developed to provide a comprehensive snapshot of the approved capital projects, which includes 2024 and prior approved budget details, actual spend to date, current progress to date, and future plans. The completed projects portion of the report is a listing of projects that are completed and require formal closure or require additional investigation where no activity has occurred recently. This is part of the ongoing cleanup efforts within the organization as a whole. Under the FIN 160 policy, the Chief Administrative Officer and Chief Financial Officer have the responsibility to ensure compliance with the policy. The contents of the report provides Council with the evidence of this compliance, presenting the progress of capital projects approved in accordance with Section 3.1.3 of the policy. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lori. Do we have any questions from Council? Councillor Weigel? Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the chair, thank you, Lori, for the presentation. There's 104 capital projects that are still need to be closed by administration, dating, I think, all the way back to 2007. What's the process and where are we at with getting those closed off, and why are they still on the books?
Thank you for the question. Through the chair to Councillor Weigel, this is really a ongoing legacy issue that is probably more than a decade of information. A lot of efforts have been happening between the capital team, operating areas, and the PMO office. It gets a little bit complicated because there's information within the financial system, and a project can be completely done, complete, we're utilizing it, but within the system, don't want to get too technical,
no problem.
But purchase orders need to be closed out, need to be done. So there's a variety of steps that have to happen across multiple business areas. So it's almost a matter of needing to pull everybody in a room together and going step by step to close out all of the information. So we adjusted the report to be able to show that historically we had this massive blue list of things that have just been carrying on forever. It was encumbering a lot of money, and we were trying to close that out. So this is a part of the process to say, we know that there's no activity happening, or we know that it's complete and it's just a part of an administrative process to clean things up.
Is it costing us administrative dollars to hold on to these? Like when we're reporting this year after year, does that cost us money?
It encumbers the CIR, so the Capital Infrastructure Reserve. When we report on the financials quarterly, we say that there's X number of dollars in the CIR that is committed. That is a part of that commitment. So I think there's about 27 million, I'm rounding up, that is encumbering our CIR, yes.
Okay, and then do we have a process in place to try to start closing a lot of those? As obviously, I can ask a million questions about why, but I guess I probably won't understand half of it. And but really, do we have a process going forward to try to get these closed off the books? Because obviously, when reading the financials, like you said, and seeing that committed number, it's not a true number.
Yeah. Well, through the chair to Councillor Weigel, it is a true number because we have contracts that have been put into place, and then a purchase order assign the funds to make sure that we have funding available for that project. So until that project is closed out, we have that financial obligation because we entered into an agreement. We had approval for a project, say take flood mitigation. You commit $50 million to a reach. You have a contract that's maybe for $45 million, but the contract itself was maybe only 40. We have $5 million that's sitting there. We're waiting for everything to be finished, to be done, and there could be deviations where they need additional funding. So the funding stays committed until the project is complete.
And sorry, just for my understanding, so if that money's committed in a bank account, I know we were having this conversation before, is it sitting just in a bank account, not collecting interest? Like, is that money that we could then be investing? If it's committed and sitting to the side, could we, if we had closed that off, could we take that $27 million and be investing it instead of it just sitting there earmarked for something else?
Well, through the chair to Councillor Weigel, the funds are committed within our investment portfolio.
Okay.
So we have money sitting in the bank account, anywhere from 50 million to say 200 million, depending on cash flow requirements. All the rest of our funding is within over $1 billion is locked into investments.
So even though it's earmarked, it's still sitting in investment, it's still collecting money.
That's correct.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you for the clarity. It's just for my understanding and to be clear on it if you're reading it. The other question I had was on a specific project, and so I don't know if this is going to be you, but it was roadways, rural roadways in 2015 to 17. I got to find it here. I apologize. It keeps on going up. It's not liking me right now. There we go. Give me 2 seconds here. Apologies.
Through the chair to Councillor Weigel, is it the Rural Infrastructure Rehabilitation 2015 to 2017 construction?
That's correct. And it's got different, I can't put it on here right now, but it's got different locations. It's got Sapper Creek, it's got Anzac, it's got different areas, and it has a list of ones that still are still yet to be completed. Those completed projects, are those roadways?
Through the chair to Councillor Weigel, I will need to refer to my colleagues. I'm not sure who would be best positioned to answer that. Director Elliott?
Through the chair to the question, the project is in relation to RWSS and involves roadways, shoulders, ditches, sort of the surface works associated with right-of-ways.
Okay, so we've got the actual RWSS in one budget, and then this is the infrastructure attaining that. It's not the same budget?
Through the chair, there's essentially three budgets. There's the surface budget, the underground budget, and then the service connection budget. That all relates to the 1995 amalgamation agreement, where we are required to upgrade the infrastructure in rural areas.
And so the one that I'm talking about, that's the underground?
Through the chair, the one you're referring to is the surface relating to the roads.
So it is the roads.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when we put the services underground, this is the road that goes over top.
Correct.
So would it be my understanding that take Sapper Creek down community? If we're putting that infrastructure into community, that would be the road that was laid on top of that infrastructure on community?
That is correct. Yeah.
And so if you take community lane right now, it's very wavy. So the road itself is, I don't know how to describe it in my uneducated way, but it's wavy. What is the standard to that? Like, obviously the project is still hasn't been signed. I would assume it's not signed off, or maybe it gets signed off in different stages, but the road, so to me that it wouldn't be the standard. Not that I understand what the exact road standard would be, but I would hope that it's not that. When does that get signed off, and how do we go back? Seeing how it's still open, when we go back and fix that, or would that be a whole other project?
Okay. Through the chair, the multiple questions there, so
sure.
Hear me out.
My apologies.
That particular project is in stages, even down the community itself has different stages. So in terms of community lane, that project would be complete, signed off. The quality assurance and quality control of that project is final. It's been accepted by the RMWB and it's now in operation. If in fact there is an issue with the road, as you say, wavy, for example, we would need to evaluate that from an inspection standpoint. There's a plan overall to look at all community roads, and maybe it's the wrong term, but all roads within the municipality over sort of a program, multi-year program. That road in particular, if you're looking, that would have to be pulled out separately under a separate budget.
Okay, and so that one would be, like I said, sorry, so that it's multiple projects signed off individually as it continues to go along.
Through the chair, that's correct, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Weigel. Councillor Ball?
Thank you. Through the chair, And I guess to Councillor Weigel's point about his Wavy Road, that project, I've spoken about these types of projects where we create something 10 years ago and then we just add project to it. We add another project and we never change the name. The project is the same name, the same scope of work, and we just keep adding pieces to it, and the budget grows over the years and so on, and you end up with a whole bunch of committed and uncommitted funds. So are we going to kind of put a stop to doing that and just create these individual projects like, you know, pave Community Lane as an example?
Through the chair, I'll speak for the organization, I suppose, as a whole. The intent, as of recently, is to avoid these major programs where we do see very large scopes and very large budgets attached to them. In order to be transparent, we want to see smaller scopes, smaller duration projects so that we can be held accountable. So I would say we stopped utilizing these large programs. We actually broke out some of these programs as well, associated with things like Thickwood Perimeter Sewer and other programs that we've had in the past that are now broken out. This one is just the rural water servicing, and the one we refer to at Councillor Wago. Those are sort of legacy projects that we're unable to break out at this point.
Okay, thank you. And I guess my next question is to you, Lori, where you're talking about committed funds, and I can appreciate that committed funds are related to some sort of contract that we've initiated with a vendor of some sort. Where my concern is our uncommitted funds, where, you know, you've got a $10 million project, you have $5 million committed in contracts, and you have $5 million sitting in the budget still. And obviously that $5 million just sits there and sits there and sits there until somebody does something with it. Do you have an idea of how much we have sitting in uncommitted that we potentially won't be using that could be used for other projects?
Through the chair to Councillor Ball, there is a report that shows that, but I do not have it in front of me today.
Would we be able to get just kind of a ball? I know it's a ballpark number. It's not going to be a real tight number, but a ballpark of what we're looking at for that. Because once we start closing the projects, the uncommitted gets released, which is, you know, quite handy to helping feed these other projects.
Through the chair to Councillor Ball, I can certainly get that and have it circulated.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ball. Do you have any questions from council? I'm not seeing any. Thank you, Lori. Could we have someone make the motion? It's the motion's on, yeah, the one on screen there, Stu.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I motion that the capital project status report as summarized on attachment 1 information.
Thank you, Councillor Weigel. And thanks for the second, Councillor Ball. Do you have any other comments, debate points, or questions from council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. Online in favor, Councillor McGrath, Councillor Walkwin, Councillor Cardinal, and Councillor Dogra, thank you. And that's carried unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to councillors' motions, we have my motion, so I'll vacate the chair for Acting Mayor Grandison.
All right, we're good. All right. Thank you, Mayor Bowman. The next item on the agenda is item number 9.1, which is Mayor Bowman's motion regarding the installation of a crosswalk to honor veterans and active service members. Mayor Bowman, could you please read out your motion? Oh.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Grandison. I move that administration engage with the Royal Canadian Legion Branch number 165 to develop proposed options for the installation of a crosswalk to honor and commemorate Canadian Forces veterans and active service members, and that any options include proposed designs, locations, and capital costs, and for these options be presented to Council in collaboration with the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 165 by March 31st, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Have somebody second
I second it. I second it.
Apparently, Councillor Dogar wants to be impatient and second. All right. Mayor Bowman, you may now speak to your motion.
Yeah, thank you. I think it speaks for itself, but as we see the veterans here this evening, this has come up way before I was mayor. I see this come up every year. This year, and each year when it comes up, it only comes up at the beginning of November, and it seems like it dies away by Remembrance Day. It comes up and forgotten about. We look at our World War I veterans, they're gone now. World War II, I would say they're almost all gone at this point. I think the way to commemorate the veterans so the youth of today can see the sacrifice that's made, and not only the sacrifice that's lost in the World War I, World War II, but the other conflicts that have happened around the world, that the veterans we have in the community here, that they're respected, and that memories of them is forward, and those children can learn from the mistakes of the people of the past and learn the sacrifices that their Canadian ancestors might say and veterans have made along the way.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mayor Bowman. I understand we have members of the public who wish to speak to this item. We will now move on to delegates. Do we have any delegates to this item?
We don't have any registered delegates for this item. We do have registered delegates? No? Okay.
We don't?
We don't.
All right. All right, so we have just members of the public. So, yeah, so if we have anybody in the gallery that wishes to speak to this item, please feel free to come on forward and share all of your and if you would please be so kind as to state your full name for the record, and remember you have 5 minutes to speak on this item. Following your submission, please remain seated for any questions. Thank you so much. So there should be a little button. Push that. There you go. You got green and you're ready to go.
Thank you. My name is Ryan Pitchers. I'm the Sergeant at Arms at the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 165. We would like to speak in favor of this motion. The Legion fully supports this in any aspect and however it's going to go forward, and we will assist the Mayor and Council with this motion.
Appreciate that. Pat, do you have anything to offer?
No, just backing up my my comrades' support. Again, it's nice. I have been at some council meetings with the Saskatchewan before, far back in the past. It's nice seeing this motion again brought up, and it was a good timing in regards to its timing after Remembrance Day, so it actually gets hopefully more traction this time around. We truly appreciate it, and I'm still a board member, past president. But I know I speak with the President's authority too in regards to their full support for this as well. So in regards to any volunteer action or anything else is required, anything in regards to input, there are many people at the branch who are more than willing to assist.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, thank you, and please remain seated. Are there any questions of council for these two? I believe Councillor Waggle.
Thank you, Acting Mayor, and thank you for your service. Does the Legion or in any discussions have an idea of what crosswalk you would like to see this on?
It's been hasn't been fully discussed with the entire board or the executive either. We also want to put this forward to membership as well. Knowing the timelines, we would definitely have a list of suggestions probably by your January sitting.
That would be awesome. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else? I believe Councillor Cardinal has his hand up.
Thanks for the presentation. To the chair, Deputy Mayor Granderson. Would this have any? I guess I just wanted to know how the Indigenous piece would be administered in this as well. Separation of Veterans Days for Indigenous Veterans Day, and then obviously through the Legion a different Remembrance Day. Are we going to make this work for both parties, or is it just going to be specific to Remembrance Day?
Through the chair to the councillor, if you don't mind, I'll speak to in regards to the separation piece. Nowhere in the branch or in the Greater Legion all the way up to Dominion has there ever been a discussion about separating Remembrance Day. The only colors that we see in the Canadian Armed Forces are either blue, black, or green, whether it be the Army, Navy, Air Force. Simple. We do recognize, though, and as Canada does, obviously, the inequalities that a lot of Indigenous veterans face as well. And we totally support that, which is why when we were approached, not we suggest, but when we were approached by groups looking to actually celebrate the other Remembrance Day in regards to the Indigenous veterans, we support it. So they actually use our Cenotaph site for their ceremonies as well. If you saw any footage of the one actually at the Cenotaph at the Legion, it's actually all the flags that were out front were actually from different classes who were actually educated by some of the elders in regards to Indigenous participation in all aspects of the Canadian Armed Forces. So we support it fully. If we have the opportunity to do multiple locations, which I don't want to push things too far, but it's going to be up to Mayor and Council on that part. I know the branch would not be opposed to it whatsoever. And if we only were with one location, we do have input from Indigenous veterans as well. We have some in the room with us as well, but we have no problem reaching out to any group that's interested in supporting veterans in any way, shape, or form. Hope that answers your question.
Would you think it'd be great if they were to do the Indigenous part, the Indigenous veteran sidewalks in the rural communities, since that's where the majority of the Indigenous people are in the nation?
No way. Sorry, just in regards to maybe my comment wasn't clear enough. In regards to the multiple locations, it would make the most sense, to be quite honest, having it in some of the rural locations. If it was possible, and I'm sure the Legion would trying to help out if there was some amount of fundraising, if we could get one in each community, would be fantastic, as far as we're concerned. So yes, any options like that would have our full support.
Oh, I guess I'll leave my next questions for the mayor. Thanks.
All right. Councillor Dogar. Councillor Dogar. I'm not sure your mic is on, Councillor Dogar. We can't hear you. Are you with us there, Mr. Dogar?
Okay, I'll speak once the motion is presented for debate.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. Was there anybody else? All right. Well, thank you both very much. Well, apparently the mayor light's on. Well, what?
Thanks, Councilor Granderson. I just wanted to thank both of you guys for coming in today. When this first came up, actually the first person I called was Ryan to ask him to bring it to the Legion to get your support first. After I got support of Legion, then I brought it forward to council. So thank you both. And thank you everyone for coming here tonight.
Yes, and I would like to also echo the mayor's appreciation for you being here and, of course, for your service. Also, thank you both very much. Appreciate it. So now you can just move along. Is there anybody else in the gallery that would like to speak to this? All right. We will now move on to questions of council and debate, correct? Look at that. She's keeping me in line here. Are there any further questions of council followed by debate points? What we got?
Hello, yes.
We start, I think the mayor was up first here. There you go.
Thank you, Councilor Granson. This might answer some questions that might come up that I've heard during the conversation with councilors. This is not a Remembrance Day crosswalk, it's a Veterans crosswalk. So it's all year round. It's going to be there for as long as we have the roads. So it just, there's no confusion on different Veterans Days. This is a Veterans crosswalk, not a Remembrance Day crosswalk. And also it's meant to honor all Canadian veterans. So I would anticipate that with the amount of Indigenous veterans we have in the community, that the crosswalk, when we get it back, the design back from Legion, will incorporate that as well. And that's, hopefully that answers some questions of council.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. McGrath.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Duggan and his crew. Big Duggan fan. Married at the Legion 35 years later. You do a great job, you and the Legion. And my, I guess I'd like to thank Mayor Bowman, being a father of a son that's serving, a son-in-law that's serving. I really respect the fact that we took this time to acknowledge that we should have been a sidewalk. And I just commend you all. My question is, I don't think it's going to be a big capital improvement. But how long would it, I guess, through administration? If this gets passed, would it be something that we could do right away in 25 or you had to wait till spring?
Who do I go to for that? Oh, CAO Hunter.
Through the chair to Councillor McGrath, that would depend on what the design is and what the construction is of the crosswalk. If it's a painted crosswalk, then you know that can be done quickly. But if it's some sort of mosaic or something like that, then that'll take a little bit longer. But it depends on what the design is that comes back from the group that works with the Legion. Thank you.
Thank you. And through the chair, I guess, to the presenters, is there a copy, like a copy that's already in some community that we could piggyback off to expedite the process?
I'm seeing a bunch of nods, Councillor McGrath, so they're in the audience nodding that yes, there are some.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
And I believe the mayor also had a comment relating to that, Mr. McGrath.
Sure. Thanks, Councillor Granson. Yeah, Councillor Rath, I think working with us, but working with the Legion, I think working with the membership, I think we'll let them come back with something that represents what the Legion would like to see. And I'm sure that'll be something that you'll appreciate.
Well, excellent. Great job there, guys. Thank you very much. Right on, Duggan.
All right. Thank you, Mr. McGrath. We have Councillor Dogar next.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, acting mayor. Secondly, thank you very much, mayor, for presenting such a nice motion and looking after and encouraging the best community, veterans, police and firefighters, all those who sacrificed their lives, and acknowledging them. This is a great on the part of mayor. Now going to the presenters, Ryan and Pat, I know. Thank you very much for coming in ceremonial dress, nicely dressed with medals is itself a respect to the council. It is a ceremonial way and you came very well dressed up. I have been associated with this branch for the last about 12 years. Every Remembrance Day, watching it, very extremely nice way they remember the veterans and keeping their thoughts alive and their memories alive. Surely I support the motion. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dogar. Councillor Ball.
Thank you. Through the chair, I just wanted to echo my support for this initiative. Had many friends serve for many, many years. And I think this is a great idea. I would like to see completion. Let's get her done this summer so that we're not talking about it next fall.
Yeah. Appreciate your comments. We have Stella.
Hi, I just want to say that I am in 100% in favor to have these sidewalks put in place and to see our veterans being recognized. My great uncle, Riel Martin, was recognized by having Riel Martin Drive named after him. Our Métis elder within Anzac community is recognized by having the school, Bill Woodward School, named after him. I'd be in 100% support, especially having one of these walkways on Riel Martin Drive and beside the Bill Woodward School. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella. So I'd just like to add, I see nobody's lights are left on right now. I'd just like to add myself that both my parents were in the Army and both my brother-in-laws have military service as well. And I think now is a very timely point because so many of our veterans, as the mayor already indicated, are moving on and our young people need to know our history. And this is also one other way to ensure that our young people know the sacrifice that was made to have the world that we live in now. So I absolutely appreciate all your efforts and in this. So if there are no other councillors, and I see none, Mayor Bowman, do you have any closing comments before we close debate and begin voting?
Thanks, Councillor Granson. No, I think I said what I need to say. I think this is something that council is going to fully support, and I think it's something that may be a little overdue in the community. So I think it'll be something that's very welcome by the community and by the Legion. So I thank the Legion for their support in this, and look forward to seeing designs and options of where it will go.
Thank you kindly. So seeing no further questions, I will call for the vote. For those that are online, if I could see a show of hands, please. What's that? Oh, we're going to do all a show of hands. So, all right, show of hands for in favor. 2, I guess I get to vote 2. And online, we have everybody. So it passed in favor unanimously. And having said that, I will now vacate this chair and I'll allow the man who knows what he's doing to re-enter.
Moving on to item 9.2, updating RMWB brand standards. I'll ask Councillor Cardinal to read out his motion.
Thanks, Mayor. Oh, geez, where did it go? Okay. Am I speaking about my motion? What'd you say there, Mayor? Sorry about that.
No, you need to read your motion.
Oh, shoot, I don't think I have my motion in front of me. Shoot. Can you go to the next one and then maybe come back to me if that's okay?
No, this is the end. This is the last last item of the meeting.
Oh, shoot, is it? Okay.
Can somebody else read it?
Can somebody else read it for me? I got the moving
go
part.
ahead, Stu. Councillor Weigel will read it for you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And for Councillor Cardinal, his motion reads, I move that administration explore opportunities to update the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo's brand standards to incorporate meaningful representation of Indigenous culture in the region.
Thanks, Councillor Cardinal, via Councillor Weigel.
I actually had that part. Sorry about that, Mayor. Daddy is kind enough to send it to me, but all good. Thanks, Stu. You want me to speak about it now?
No, I'm just waiting for a second to come up on the screen here.
Okay.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Walkman. So that's second by Councillor Walkman. And you can speak your motion now, Councillor Cardinal.
Thanks, Mayor. I basically would just like to get support for my motion to be able to have some sort of Indigenous Indigenous branding that comes out, and imagery and our sweaters, and not a permanent base, but just a kind of a series of Indigenous branding that would come from us as a municipality, just to be able to show the input that we've created through the municipality and make sure that the content is shared with the Indigenous communities, whether it has a logo of one of the nations under the municipal logo, or something like that, and just the public branding and promotional items of the municipality. I know that in our documents in the IRR, there's a little thing with the buffalo, and then the Métis symbol and the feather. But that doesn't show on any of our branding, like a sweater or a hat, that kind of sort. And I think it just falls with our reconciliation process we're doing, and just having the Indigenous community feel that they're part of the growth of the municipality. And it would just be a phase, just supporting the Indigenous culture and having a branding that coincides with that and support that. So I think it's a great idea myself, and that's the reason why I brought this forward. So if we need to, I'm open to it. And like I just thought of this, but I can get the support for the branding to be taken back by by our staff, and work towards some imagery with Indigenous content with our branding.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Cardinal. Do we have any questions? Do we have any delegates for this item?
We have no delegates for this item.
Thanks. Do we have any questions of council? Councillor Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the chair to Councillor Cardinal. Through your explanation, I actually really appreciate the explanation. So you're not looking, and just for my understanding, sorry, you're not looking to change the permanent logo of the buffalo as RMWB, but to have, I guess, a display or a new set of like emblems and like you said, a series of clothing and logos that represent our Indigenous nations, Métis, going through, but not changing the actual logo, but just having a series with that.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Councillor Weigel. Just basically like the RMWB regional municipality logo, that wouldn't be changed at all. But I just feel that doing a little series in honor of the Indigenous communities, just in our branding, I think it kind of be important and pretty cool to acknowledge that.
That's awesome. With that understanding and hearing your spirit behind it, I'll support this the way you have it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing it forward.
Thanks, Councillor Weigel. Councillor Dogar.
Sorry, there's no point.
Thanks, Councillor Dogar. Just a question for IRR, because I know when I first started, we redid some stationery, but also had some pins made and some stickers. And do you guys already do that with IRR dens?
Through the chair to the Mayor Bowman, yes, we do. We have a number of initiatives that we have for each special occasion, like Red Dress Day, like Orange Shirt Day, that type of thing. And we do have the pin, It's Time. And the red one signifies the Red Dress Day for the missing and murdered, which is May the 5th. and it's got the drum, the feather, and the Métis symbol on there. And we've also got an orange one made up for September 30th for Orange Dress Day. And we've also just recently made some red pins. We've had them made up in regards to like an angel-like figure for missing and murdered. And if you look around, some of the councillors wear the red ones that we had made. I believe Al's got one on there. No, yes. And then the beaded pins, the beaded dresses. Our CEO wears one, a number of other people do. That signifies the missing and murdered and Red Dress Day thing. So we do have a number of initiatives, stuff on the go that we do have that signifies the region. And I think it's much broader than just the branding. What's important to Indigenous communities. A little while ago, we passed a flag policy, which has been something that has always been near and dear to Indigenous peoples, the flags. And if you look over there in council chambers, we now have the flag, the Treaty 8. We've also flying it outside here, where we put some extra flag poles. And so it's quite far-reaching on some of the things that we do, as well as Kiam Park. We put the flag poles in there with all the flags up there. And I think one of our flagships for branding and for visibility is the teepee that we had made up in 2022. And on that is the buffalo branding with the buffaloes on the bottom, and its time logo in the orange. And kind of a long-winded answer. I got more if you want it.
No, that's good, Dennis. I think you kind of answered my question. Because also, I actually have a jacket that I got from you that has its time logo on. So I think when Councillor Cardos mentioned that, so we can get branded items of the RMWB, like the sweaters, hats, with the logos that you have, with the logos of the pins, I guess, that you have now. So maybe this really could be Councillor Cardinal could be for the IRR to update some brands that we could use in branding for hats and sweaters, as you mentioned, those promotional items. So I think some of the stuff we have now we can do, but we might want to look at some new things. Councillor McGrath.
Thank you, through the chair. Just to Kendrick's motion. Tomorrow, if we were to make an order of what we traditionally ordered, would it be, Kendrick, your understanding that, going forward, there would be an emblem, as everybody talks about, not the specific events and markers. When we roll out a shirt from the RMWB, it has the logo as it has today, but in addition, it would recognize Treaty 8 and the Métis Nations of Wood Buffalo. Would that be the spirit of the go forward motion?
That's kind of my ask. Yep.
Yeah.
The other days that Director Fraser was referring to, that were all created by the nations. And Orange Shirt Day was created by everyone else. Another lady, I forgot her name, but I know about that. And they were created by others. I just feel that us creating our own municipality would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I hear you completely. And I think what it is just take what we're doing now. We don't have to reconfigure anything. Just to add to our placemaker and our branding. And it would identify, it wouldn't change our logo as today. We would just add to the next shirt that was made, or the next jacket or pin was made. There's a permanent installation of Treaty 8 and Métis Nations and Wood Buffalo. That's what I just want to clarify that, sir.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Thank you. Great idea. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. Do we have any other questions comments or debate points from council? Councillor Grandison?
So if I'm to understand this, Mr. Mayor, a lot of it we're already doing. It's just actually making it more finalized, or so that if a councillor came on and they wanted, something that signified more of our Indigenous public, we would have actually a branded logo that our administration could share and use. That's what I'm hearing, is that we're just going to take some of what we're already doing and just make it more official or permanent.
I think so, Councillor Cardinal. That it's just to create another logo that would have an Indigenous content to represent our region, and to have that available for promotional items is what you're looking for.
Yeah, well, that too, Mayor. But I'm more like the hats and the sweaters. Like, we have the Buffalo or the RMWB writing on our sweaters. I've used the sweaters. I've been given the sweaters quite a bit. But like to have a symbol on the sleeve of a Métis symbol or a red dress symbol, or just that kind of stuff. Just to have that content in our branding, in clothing and hats. I think that'll be a great addition. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, perfect. I can support that. Councillor Grandison?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I just asked a question, never shut the light off.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments, or debate points from council? I'm not seeing any, so I'll call for a vote. So online in favor? Councillor Cardinal, Councillor Walkwin, Councillor McGrath in favor, Councillor Dogar in favor. Thank you. And that's carried unanimously. And that's it for this evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Marcy Cho, Kinwis Compton. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.